John's in Chattanooga. Hey, John, welcome to the Ramsey Show. How can Christy and I help?
Hey, Dave. Good to thank you for taking my call. How you guys doing?
Great, man. What's up?
So I just recently bought a primary residence. I've been kind of doing the investing bit myself about a year now. So far, so good. It's been great. Been using the same home inspector. He's been very thorough. He's always been very helpful and informative whenever I go with him, showing me this or, teach me more here and there. So with this house, everything was good and everything. So day one, when I first, finally closed and we moved in, day one, I knew there was something wrong with the HVAC system. And, I was reaching out to the realtor just to be like, hey, do we hear anything? Was there any, I know despite seller's disclosure, but, so actually had a internet guys what found the problem. And then I've had different, AC companies come in and they were telling me that, the words they used to describe the oversight of the ductwork was, catastrophic. Was he blindfolded? Did he even go underneath the house? And, to the point of each quote that I got to even fix the HVAC system is a pretty significant cost.
How much?
Well, I understand there's a difference between efficient working and like repairing what needs to be done, but we're talking maybe $8,000 to $10,000 on the good side, not including the insulation issues.
That he missed $8,000 to $10,000 worth of ductwork that was not plugged in and not done right.
Just in ruins and just
how many different estimates have you gotten?
Estimates?
Yeah, for fixing the ductwork.
3 estimates for the ductwork, and I had 2 for the insulation, all kind of being the climate control issue.
Insulation of the house or the insulation of the ductwork?
Insulation of the house.
Okay. How much for the ductwork?
Ductwork, we're looking at about $3,000 or $4,000.
Okay.
And to that point,
and you want to spend $5,000 on insulation on your house? How big a house is this?
Not insulation. No, not insulation. That's just for the ductwork. The insulation was about $2,500.
That's not $8,000. 3 and 2 is 5.
3 and 2 is 5. With the different AC companies, and they all remarkably said the same thing. The unit's too small for the house, but because the house was originally made as a barn and been added to it, so the floor levels are different as far as like underneath the house.
Okay, do you think this guy was smoking dope, or do you think he intentionally ripped you off, or do you think he just made an honest mistake?
Out of referrals and just kind of networking, my understanding he's still kind of feeling his way, so he could be a little more green. I couldn't presume to say because I'm not.
Did you bring this problem to him?
I did.
What did he say?
Initially, it was great to hear that he was, willing to own up. Very well could have overlooked, and I was like, that's awesome. But, going to the quote, it's kind of like, well, everything was working good, at the time of the inspection and so on and so forth. But, 10 days after living there, the closet right next to the HVAC system was consumed with mold growing into the bedroom right next to it from the, humidity in there. He's just keep kind of splitting hairs a little bit, it seems, and he's more of like, I'm more than happy to consult and, do all this and that, but definitely he's trying to stay away from, as far as lending a hand in the finances for the repairs.
I kind of smell that your heating and air guy's trying to make a sale. I might be wrong, but I think he's added some drama to this. You bought a barn with an air conditioner on it. I might be wrong. I think I'd tread carefully here. I think your feelings are hurt. I'd tread careful. We're talking with John in Chattanooga. He bought a barn that is converted to a home. The unit, and it's been added onto. The heat and air unit is too small. The ductwork was not connected. There was mold and there was a lack of insulation. His home inspector seemed to have missed this. His heat and air guy asked if the guy was blindfolded when he did the home inspection. Okay, John, here's what's bothering me in this story. Are you with me still?
Okay.
Here's what's bothering me.
Yeah.
Your heating and air guy, who stands to benefit from getting this job, is blowing this up and really running down the other guy, the other trade. If the only way I can get work is to run down the other guy and I can increase the size of my ticket, I no longer trust his voice. His voice is bothering me in this story. Is that fair?
Entirely.
Okay?
Entirely, yeah.
And you had a guy that prior to this you trusted. Now, have you been under there and looked at this stuff?
Yes, I have. And honestly, I'm not an AC guy, but
I'm not either, but apparently if he wasn't blindfolded, he could have told, according to this other guy, he could have told it wasn't connected, right?
Yeah, I mean, rooms of the house not being connected whatsoever. It's just
how many rooms?
3 rooms.
Okay.
Used to be more, but it was opened up since it's been there for so long.
Okay. So,
I've got a question. So let's say that he did totally screw up.
mm-hmm.
Is there any liability?
It would depend on what your contract says with your home inspector as to how much liability he has limited. I mean, and
okay.
it sounds like he's not a big-time home inspector. Some of them actually carry insurance for errors and omissions that cover cover if they miss something. So I would investigate those 2 things. That's a good question. Is what does the actual agreement state that he's liable for in the event he misses something like this? Also, find out if he has insurance to cover it. Now, past that, let's get practical. This guy's a small timer. He doesn't have $3,000 or $4,000 to give you.
Of course.
Even if he wanted to. I mean, I don't think you're going to get any money out of it. Huh?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm not really wanting any money out of him per se, but we did speak in regards to what contingency could there be if there was oversight, that on his end. He does have insurance to cover it, and of course an inspection of that time. I don't mind to cover the insulation and just everything else I need to take care of, but just inside of it being an oversight, considerable oversight, I was just curious of your guys' thoughts. Should I just go ahead and eat it and just pay for it myself?
Yeah, I mean, if you can get an insurance a check out of his insurance guys, I would, if you really believe he had an oversight. But I don't think this guy is going to give you any money because I don't think he has any money, and I think it's probably the last time you're going to use him as an inspector, right?
Yeah, that's both statements are fair.
Yeah, I'd get the insurance money out of him if I could, because it sounds like he did miss it. If you can get it, I don't know how complicated it is. I've never filed a claim on something like that, so I don't know what it is. But I also am a little bit disturbed. I think your heat and air guy is overstating this and adding some drama, trying to make a sale. My guess is you've done some rehabs that you probably can get a good sub in there and get some bat insulation, not bad, and get the thing in. It sounds like some flex duct run to those other rooms, and you're probably going to have to upgrade your unit at some point. It's not going to carry the whole thing. So you're going to lose on this transaction. You're going to eat some of it. That's, I don't know a way around that in this situation, because here's the thing I've figured out. And Christy, this is a good principle for business in general. It's so frustrating when somebody doesn't do their job. But when they're broke, the contract you sign with them actually means almost nothing, because they're only going to abide by the contract to the extent they have the resources to abide by the contract.
Yeah, but they can.
They can't. They don't physically have the money.
Yeah.
And so even if the guy went, yep, my bad.
Yeah.
He's got, if he says my bad and he's got $100,000 in his bank account, write you a check, that's good. But that's not normally the case in something like this. Contracts don't make bad deals good. Contracts don't make bad people good. Contracts don't make incompetent people competent. And so never sign a contract, and this is not what he was doing, by the way. I'm not picking on John. But never sign a contract, because I've done this, and I would go, and then the whole thing would blow up, and I kind of knew it was a bad deal, but I signed a contract, and then I say the dumbest statement. Here's what I would say, and some of you have said this, but I have a contract. As if it had magical powers to make the incompetent competent, the crooked straight.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Contracts don't have magical powers.
They
just clarify what 2 good, capable people were going to do, that they do. They have communication tool for doing what they say they're going to do. That's all a contract does.
Yeah, it's a false sense of security if you think it's going to fill a gap that can't be filled by a contract, by a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Or
you get the wonderful opportunity to go into court to try to, and then you're just throwing good money after bad. And I've done that, and I probably will have to do that again in business. Sometimes I have to go before the judge and go, this bozo's doing this, and I can't get him to stop, and and so you gotta do it. But Sheesh, it's a no win because all it does is just cost you money. One people wins the lawyers.
Yeah.
But
Well, going back to the heat and air guy, you make a good point too, because I was thinking about this when you were talking about him, and maybe a layer of drama there of exaggerating and the whole blindfold comment. When you exaggerate what's going on, even if there are oversights and issues, you lose credibility when you act in this exaggerating, dramatic state. And so,
wait a minute, that's my job.
wait a minute, this is what we do for a living. The truth is a suggestion. I like to add a little flair. But no, it's like so some people in sales are trying to get a sale. They exaggerate so much that they make the person scared. It's this fear tactic.
Yeah.
And a scared person, even that, it doesn't lead to good deals. It doesn't lead to good decisions. So even if the guy had some valid points, the drama takes away the credibility of him as the person you want to go to. I don't want to go to him even if he's right. I want to go to someone that seems more credible.
Yeah, and they go, gosh, this is a horrible situation. How can I help you solve your problem?
That's exactly right. That says, you know what, he overlooked it. He may have been new. He just a more common sense, level-headed approach to assessing the situation versus this dramatic scene. Yeah.
Yeah, John, I'm afraid you're eating a lot of this, my friend. All of that to say that.